Good morning, Unity in Marin. We are in our Advent season, and Carolyn Gauthier wasn't feeling well this morning, so she asked me to lead you in her Advent song that she's written. So please, the lyrics will be behind me. Please join me in singing this. Like the star of Bethlehem, shining inside of me, guiding me from where I am, guiding inside of me, in my heart, there is hope in my heart, in my heart. As I listen quietly, waiting inside of me, God brings peace and harmony, waiting inside of me, in my mind, there is peace in my mind, in my mind, deeply flowing from within, moving inside of me. Love is pouring without end, moving inside of me, in my soul, in my soul. There is love in my soul, in my soul. Filled with wonder and with grace, living inside of me. Christ is born now in this place, living inside of me, in my life, in my life. There is joy in my life, in my life, in my heart, in my heart. Hope, peace, love, and joy are in my heart, in my heart.
Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate all you do and all you mean to getting, I don't know if you all realize, but Lisa's the one that puts the glue of Sunday morning together, makes all of this work. Yeah. I am the Reverend Medora Gordon, and this is Unity in Marin. And as we gather together this morning, here on the second Sunday in Advent, remember that whoever we are, wherever we are from, wherever we are on our spiritual journey, whatever our size, shape, color, age, or choice, we are welcome in this place. As we come together now in this stillness, the quiet of this time, we come together as one. For that is, in fact, who we all are. And so it is.
Open to the presence now, love is in this place. Open to the light within, feel God's peace and grace. Open to the presence now, love is in this place. Open to the light within, feel God's peace and grace.
Amen. Good morning, Unity in Marin. So happy to be here. I'm honored. My name is Gabe Paulson, your worship assistant celebration leader this morning. And just looking at the tree and all of you out there, it's just an honor to take a deep breath and in this bustle to have a Sunday morning with you. How many of you really think this is the best time of the year, like the song goes? All right. Really? I have my doubts. I know I'm supposed to be hyper spiritual, but it's getting dark. I used to walk at 5 o'clock, and that's hard, and it's colder and rainier. But I get a Christmas tree every year, not this big. And I was raised Russian Orthodox, and so for the Russian Orthodox, Christmas is 13 days later, so you get to celebrate on the 7th. And so the tree I buy at the end of Thanksgiving. I've had it since November 28th, and and then I wait till Russian Christmas, January 7th, and I don't know if you see a pattern here of clinging. You've got this scrawny thing with a few needles left, and I'm like. And I think it is the best time of the year. In the end, we invite the darkness, and we find that there's light. And some of the things that scare us the most are those things that set us free. And some of the deepest conflicts we have are what bring us peace. And that's today's Advent candle, is the candle of peace. And the celebration, the metaphor, the metaphysics, if you will, of Christmas is the birth of Christ. And at Unity, we think of it as the birth of the Christ consciousness, the time to feel peace, to feel courage, to feel love, to feel included. And we're so lucky. So lucky to be here. And I'm so lucky to be here. And every Sunday we read off the slide what our mission is, but I want you to put some heart into it and realize what consciousness is. It's a space that you don't fight for. And authenticity, it's a chance to be yourself. A lot of people don't give you that. I'm just so moved as I look at all of you. We're here because we want love, we have love, we give love at the same time. So let's say our mission statement.
We are a spiritual community committed to authenticity and the expression of love and support for each other, living and awakened enlightened life.
And every week we state our 3 core commitments, and the first one is our commitment to connect. And if you don't mind, just hold the hand of the person next to you. And as all these hands connect, we instantly in our bodies feel that we're together, that we're not alone. And it's this reminder that there's something even when we are not with other people around, that we're not alone. And it's inspiring to us and the world. So let's say this together. We connect the Spirit, inspiring each other, community, and the world. And some of the things we do to stay connected is we are pretty much open 7 days a week with some activity. And on Wednesdays, we try to give the other beat of the Sunday service, the 2 heartbeats of the week, Love Dub. And on Wednesday, we're having Kalpana Reddy, who's a yoga and meditation teacher, really specializes in grief and body work. And just a moment ago, I had those tears. I think all of us carry something sometime. And it's a great opportunity to come into a safe space and feel this warmth and these symbols and this love. So if you're so able, try coming Wednesday. And the services are always lovely. And Lisa Starbird, who's helps here, really coordinates those and does such a lovely job. So it's a great chance. And then right after that, on Friday, we have the Sonos Handbell Ensemble. And I don't know if any of you have heard of them or seen them. I hadn't. But if you go to the Unity in Marin website, there's a little YouTube clip, and I listened to it yesterday. And it sounded to me like when I closed my eyes, it wasn't bells. They had the sound of a bass and a drum, and it's truly incredible. And they'll be right here in this space. So what a chance to see some great music and feel that joy and that uplift. So that's on Friday. And then one other thing we do, which is just lovely every year, on Christmas Eve, we have the Christmas Eve candlelight. So that goes on at both 5 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. And what it is we have our choir here. Each of you get a candle, and it's this symbol of lighting the candle where all fire comes from a common source, and then we all carry these separate candles. And just a beautiful way to have the light, the warmth, and everything, or just our fellowship. And so if you get a chance, it's 5, on the early side, and 7, and that's happening, on Christmas Eve, the 24th. And as we have our prayer box come up, we have Bonnie Abbey, our prayer chaplain. And that box really is a reminder, just like the candle up on the screen and the candles of all the holidays, that we give this to the world, and we also seek this in the world, the warmth, the light, the enlightenment, the courage to be the candle. And we take all of our feelings, our aspirations, our spirit, and we express it in prayer and found this community on prayer. And in the box are little prayer slips. Feel free to put one in any time. We pray over them here 30 days, and then we send them to Unity Village. And Bonnie, for your service, thank you very much. And now, instead of doing the daily word, and we have Reverend Blaine, who's our guest speaker today, and he will come up and lead us in the meditation.
Good morning. Good morning. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable. And bring your attention to your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting go of the busyness of life for this moment. Breathing in, breathing out. And just to give yourself the gift of this moment. To take that journey from the mind into the heart. To embrace and embody the presence of love that you are. Letting go, letting God, being right here, right now. The thought for today and the word for today is peace. The peace that passes all understanding. Millions of people around the world are celebrating Advent. In Unity, and quite literally, the word Advent means the coming. In Unity, we celebrate the coming of the Christ consciousness. And this 4 weeks before Christmas is a metaphysical journey of the opening of our awareness to the truth of who we are to the Christ. We began last week with faith, knowing that we are connected to the presence, that we are one with the presence. And today we celebrate peace. And this peace moves through our consciousness because we know that Christ is here. We know that everything will work out, everything is in divine order. And we let our minds and our bodies feel this peace. And next week we celebrate love. As we open our hearts our minds, and expand our very beingness to be the presence of love. To let this be the guiding light of our souls. And the last week of Advent is joy. The joy of knowing that the Christ presence is arising in us. That we can be present. That we can move through all perceived limitations and experience and express the Christ presence. Breathe in and breathe out. And in a moment, we'll take some time in the silence. And in that place, I invite you to open to your Christ self. Just be with it. Be present. And be light. So let's take a few moments now to turn within into the silence. And bringing your attention back to the breath. Let the breath be the gentle vehicle that brings your awareness back to this moment. To become aware of this beautiful sanctuary, the light that is all around us, the light that you are. Breathing in, breathing out, and opening your eyes when you're ready. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you on this day.
Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
Good morning. It's a song by Horace Silver. All we need in this world is to have a time for peace, time of life and love, with all guidance from above, time that a man can enjoy, being free, oh, in a time of peace. We need peace for our children, so that they may lead a better life. What joy divine, what a perfect state of mind, without worries and cares left behind. Oh, what a peaceful time. We need peace for our children, so that they may live a better life. What joys divine, what a perfect state of mind, without worries and cares left behind. Ooh, what a peaceful time. Oh, what a peaceful time.
Beautiful. Thank you. That was Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas. Just a soulful, wonderful, wonderful way to let the music talk. And Jason for the piano playing. Thank you so much every Sunday. And if you're new here, we would love to welcome you. And even if you're not new here, we'd still love to welcome you. It's a welcome kind of place. And we have a welcome team that has some forms. And what you can do is fill it out, let us get to know you a little better, and we have some little gifts to give you. So if you're new, please raise your hand, and one of these two lovely ladies will give you a form. And if you're online, we want to welcome you as well. We really love the fact that we can open up this very intimate setting to the wider world, and as much as surfing the internet is fun, I hope you just stay here and get to feel in your heart what we feel here as well. So welcome to all. And we do our core commitments every week, and one is to grow. And it just comes to my mind that you really are as old as really as young as your faith and as old as your doubts. So the core commitment that we have is not one of aging. We don't commit to age, we commit to grow. And the difference, I think, is that we embrace hope. We embrace all those things that really allow us to stay eternally young. And we commit to growing our consciousness and to cultivating our sense of fellowship and belonging. So let's say our growth commitment together. We grow in consciousness through education, healing, and prayer. And as you all just saw, Reverend Blaine led our daily word, and he's also doing a workshop afterwards at 2 p.m. and a really, really good chance to see this, just incredible guest of ours, this minister, and his topic will be to rewire your brain, and he may get into that a little bit more, and I'm sure he will in his talk. But just in brief, he's done so many different spiritual practices, and some in Buddhism, and also over on the psychological side of the world, learning positive psychology. And it really is a distillation to see how our mind-body connection is so intimately intertwined, and by healing our bodies, we heal our minds, and we rewire our brain, and we can think positively. And for that experience, I think it's so, and it's here today at 2 o'clock, it's such a great gift to yourself in the holidays. So please come if you get a chance and see more of Reverend Blaine. And another thing we have is the Life After Death series. So next Friday, that's the 21st, there will be another talk and another chance to really kind of grow your awareness and your sense of possibilities. And now let's sing our statement of truth.
There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good in all, through all and over all. There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good in all, through all and over all. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
We invite you to sing along with this, if you know the words. And I love the hand claps, so that's all good. Yeah. Sleigh bells are ring. Are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is a bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. He sings a love song and we sing along, walking in the winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we sit by the fire and face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Yeah, come on. That sounds so good. In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we sit by the fire and face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland, walking in a winter wonderland, walking in a winter wonderland. How about it for Jason?
Wow. Do you feel warm? Yeah, do you feel ready? It's the season. It's fabulous. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Hi, I'm Lynn Forsey. I'm one of the co-chairs of the search team, and I am very, very pleased to be able to introduce to you Reverend Blaine Tinsley today. Reverend Tinsley comes to us with more than 16 years' experience as a senior minister. He has served in leadership positions in Unity Worldwide. He is the president of his region, which is the Unity Pacific region of Unity. He has also served as on the licensing and ordination ministry in Unity Worldwide, coaching and counseling future other senior ministers. And each person that we've had the pleasure of interviewing and talking with has brought certain characteristics with them. And some of the characteristics that we were really struck with when we talked to Reverend Blaine were how just the presence, he just like jumped through the phone, through Skype with us. He was instantly like with us on the call, if you know what I mean. He has an ease and a presence with him that's very kind of that lightness of being and peace. Before I knew today was about peace, like I wrote that. He has a great warmth, infectious smile, passion for the ministry. He came to the ministry after careers in teaching. He has a Bachelor of Arts degree from San Francisco State University. So he has been in the Bay Area previously. And it's just been wonderful getting to know you. And please join me in welcoming Reverend Tinsley.
God bless you. Thank you. Wow, this is amazing. I want to thank a few people. You have such an incredible community. Emily and I have felt so welcomed since we began this process a few months ago by the search team and by the board, and I understand they put in 400 hours or something in this process. And they love you all so much. And I especially want to thank Gabe for, I've seen a lot of board presidents, but I've never seen one like you. You are amazing. And Nicholas, oh my God, man. I don't have to say anything. I think you just said it all. And Jason, you are amazing. Your heart is in your piano. Thank you. Wow. So I want to tell you a story. Not too long ago, I was in Whole Foods, and I was actually on the way to a board meeting, and I knew I had just enough time to stop at Whole Foods and grab a salad from the salad bar and drive to the church to meet with my board. And then as I'm walking through Whole Foods, everything jumps off the shelf at you, right? And I saw, I love this, I think it's called Cafia coffee creamer that's made with almond milk and pecan. Oh my! I should be a sales rep for it because I love it that much, right? So anyway, I go through Whole Foods and I get my salad and I grab a couple bottles of my pecan creamer. And I'm moving through up to the cashiers, and I realize there is a cashier line that's open, and it's the 7-item or less line, right? And so I walk up there, and I set my 2 items on the conveyor belt, and just as I do, a lady comes along with her basket and sets it right in front of me, right? And I went, whoa. I felt this you ever get that like a trimmer that kind of goes from your feet up through the top of your head? And I'm like, And so, I'm just kind of being there and not being okay. And she starts to unload her basket, right? And I didn't pay too much attention. I'm looking around, but I'm sort of aware of what's happening, right? That I'm feeling the movement. And about the 9th item, she's got my attention. And I look up at the sign. It says 7 items or less. I'm in the right line. And I look at her and I look at the cashier and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And then somebody comes and takes her basket away. And then she's got all her items on the conveyor belt and I'm looking at them and I counted them. There were 12, right? And so I counted them. I looked at the sign. I looked at her. I looked at the cashier. And then I counted them again. I think I counted them 3 times. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe this. And I'm about to explode. It's not safe to walk down the streets of my mind at this moment. And then I thought, okay, what is the unity principle that I can use right here and right now? I'm a minister, right? I'm supposed to emulate these principles, yes. And then I thought, she belongs. She belongs right where she is. And when I said that, I took a breath. I was just able to be in this moment and say, she belongs right here, right now. And it's amazing because in that moment, a peace came over me, the peace that passes all understanding. And instantly I went from to, okay, it's all right. She belongs here. She belongs here. And then I realized I belong here. I belong right where I am. I belong behind this woman in line with her basket full of goodies with how many? 12 things in there. And so I just was able to breathe and say, okay, you belong, I belong. And this is the peace that we celebrate in Advent. It's the peace that we know. I knew that the Christ presence was right there always. I just needed to call upon that Christ presence. And as soon as I did, I was peaceful. So I invite you to look around this congregation, to look out and maybe meet eyes with a few people and just look around. And maybe you find that there's some people that you really sort of resonate with, and maybe there's some that you don't so much. Yeah? And to say, in a sense, in your consciousness, you belong here. You belong here. You belong here. Everyone belongs here, yes? And then I invite you to grab the hands of somebody near you and to hold their hands and look into their eyes and say, you belong here. You belong here. You belong here. You really belong here. You belong here. And now bring the focus to yourself and say, I belong here. I belong here. And really feel that. These are more than just words. I want you to say it and feel that you belong here. Together, I belong here. I belong here. Breathe into that. Pause into that. Just feel that. I belong here. I belong here. There's a story that I like about 2 monks, and they're they're sitting by the river, and they're washing their bowls after their meal. And as they're washing the bowls, one of the monks notices that a scorpion moving along the cliff of the edge falls into the water. And without thinking, the monk reaches in and scoops it up and puts it back on the shore again. And as he does, it bites him, stings him. And Then he continues to wash his bowl. And then in a few minutes, he looks over and he sees that the scorpion has fallen in the water again. And he reaches in and he grabs the scorpion and he places it on the shore, and it bites him again. And his friend, the other monk, says, "Friend, why do you help the scorpion when you know that its nature is to sting you?" And the monk says, "Because it is my nature to save it." It is our nature, our human nature, to be in community. It's in our DNA to be in community. We are naturally attracted to community. If it wasn't for the communities that we've been in over thousands of years as human beings, we might not still be here. Because it's in our communities that we protect each other, in our communities that we save each other, in our communities that we hold each other when we're suffering and help us through the transitions of life. In community, we work together and we feed each other and we love each other. It's also in our DNA, and it's natural for us to be in spiritual community. And as we evolve on our spiritual journey, we begin to realize that the truth is that we are all one. Do you remember having that realization and realizing, I am one with everyone? Everyone is a reflection of me. Everyone is an expression of the Christ. And we realize that the presence of God is everywhere in everything, and that we are one with that presence. We realize that everything is God. Everything is sacred, and everything belongs wherever we are. Back in 1990, I can remember the day. I can remember the moment like it was yesterday, sitting on the floor in my living room in San Ramon and feeling so alone and so sad. And it's like, I wasn't in a relationship, and I realized I really want to be in a relationship. I really want to have love in my life. Anybody ever feel that way? And so I thought, what can I do? How can I find love? I thought back to my childhood. I was raised in the Disciples of Christ Church, and I left there when I was 12 because of other reasons. But I realized that I thought back, well, I remember there were lots of girls in that church. And you know what? I'm going to go looking at churches to find me a woman. Got to find a woman. And so the next Sunday, I went to the Baptist church, and the Sunday after that, I went to the Presbyterian church, and then I went to the Methodist church. I even went to the Pentecostal church, and I'm like, woo, baby, the universe is rich with possibility. But the philosophy didn't work for me, right? It's like, I love the idea. I love being in community. I love being in church. But the philosophy, I love the people, but the philosophy wasn't my philosophy. And so I told this to a friend, and he said, well, have you ever gone to a Unity church? Unity? I said, what is that? Oh, he said, you should go. They accept everybody there. And they'll even like you. So I went to the Unity church, and I walked in, and it was like, there's something different. Yeah, there's a magic, there's a connectedness, there's a life, yeah? And the minister's message spoke to me, and that minister spoke about truths that I knew were true, but I could never articulate before. It was like I really didn't know what I believed until I heard this lady, this beautiful minister, Carol Ruth Knox, if you know who that is, speaking truth. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is what my heart was like, woo! And so then after the service, I followed everybody outside, and there were 60 or 70 people out on the patio. And I walked out, and I stood there, and a couple people said hello to me. But that was kind of it. And I stood in the midst of them, and I noticed that there were little pods of people all over. Kind of like if you were in high school, you'd call them cliques, yeah? And everybody was really enjoying everybody else, but I didn't feel included. And so I left. Well, actually, I stood there for an hour. Well, maybe it wasn't an hour. Maybe it was 10 minutes. No, it was probably more like 7 minutes. And then I left. And I wonder how many people come to our ministries and don't feel included, and so they leave. You know, and I understand you have a group here called Weavers who are really here to do that and to introduce people into the congregation. That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. I love that. And so, I found love in that church. I found love. But it wasn't in a female body. The love that I found was for myself. I didn't grow up loving myself. Anybody else feel that way? It was a lot easier for me to love somebody else than it was to love myself. And because I built up all these fears and all these illusions and all these false truths and all these voices in my head that said that I wasn't good enough. But I found love in that community, in those teachings, because I really learned to love myself. And I also discovered the sacredness. I discovered that everything is sacred. That wherever we are, this is a sacred moment. This moment is sacred. When you go from here and you get in your car, that's a sacred moment. If we can just be in that moment and remember that truth wherever we are. Everything is God. Everything is sacred. And everything belongs. Let's say that together. Everything is God. Everything is sacred, and everything belongs. We have an incredible mission in our lives. What I love about these teachings and what called me forth and what the passion that I felt. Oh, I missed part of the story. I thought something was funny. So I left that church. I didn't go back for 6 months. But what happened for me was the teachings started to pull me. And I started to remember the power of those teachings. And it was like, wow, you ever feel that way? It's like Spirit is calling me. And I went back to that church. And I was determined that I'm going to fit in here. You all are going to accept me. And I really believe it was my determination that made that happen. And in my determination, somebody had their eyes on me, and they recognized that I was a school teacher. And I was teaching first and second grade at the time. And that person said to me, you need to be a YOU sponsor. So I became a YOU sponsor, and those children, those young adults, taught me everything I know and reflected that to me. And then one day, I became involved. I started taking classes. I started taking workshops. I was hungry. Give me this stuff. I want this truth. I want to embody this truth and live this truth. And one day, the minister was up there speaking, and a little voice said to me, "You're going to do that someday." And I said, "Oh, no." But I knew it was true. You know that feeling? It's like you just know it's true. And these principles that we teach that bring us together in community, that give us this great message, it's like Spirit is calling us to be these principles. The world needs these teachings. Our friends need these teachings. So many people are alone and not in love, and they don't know the truth of who they are. And we're here to be a mirror and reflection for them. Now let's get back to where I was. And to know that everything is God, everything is sacred, and everything belongs. Let's say that together. Everything is God. Everything is sacred. And everything belongs. We have a great gift in this teaching. To spread these teachings. It's in our DNA to want to share this truth. Have you ever heard the idea that thoughts, here we go. The very first thing that I learned was that change your thinking, change your life. Have you heard that before? Change your thinking, change your life. It's a powerful spiritual truth, and science has recently proven that this is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Our DNA, the tails of our DNA are called telomeres, right? And as we age, our telomeres get shorter. And when our telomeres get shorter, the quality of our life deteriorates and the length of our life deteriorates. So science has discovered, and the good news is that we can change our telomeres. When we can change our telomeres through positive thinking, through spending time in meditation, we can change our telomeres by being in community with each other. We can actually lengthen our telomeres. We can change our telomeres and change our life. And this is such a powerful message that we need to share it with the world. Don't we? We need to be this presence in the world. Affirmations change our telomeres. And I've got an affirmation I want to share with you this morning. When I think positive thoughts, I improve the quality of my life and I feel great. When I change, I'm on Hawaii time. Yeah. When I think positive thoughts, I improve the quality of my life. And I feel great. Let's say it together. When I think positive thoughts, I improve the quality of my life and I feel great. Isn't that what we want to do? To feel great. These principles of ours work. This spiritual truth is a neurological truth. It's a psychological truth. And it's a truth that Unity has embraced for over 100 years, and other traditions have known it for thousands of years. So, what are we here to do? We're here to be emissaries of light, to bring this light to the world, and to bring this light to this Unity in Marin community. Oftentimes when our leadership gets together, we talk about how can we grow our church. Ever heard that? I think we heard it a few times today. The largest possibility, the highest percentage way to grow this ministry, not the only way, but the highest probability and the percentage to grow this ministry happens for you every week. And it's the people that come through the door who are drawn here by their DNA, by the law of attraction, by the hearing what we teach and what we do in this ministry. So I've got 4 ways, practical ways that we can grow this ministry. Are you interested? Yeah. And they're simple ideas in the idea, but they're maybe a little bit difficult to accomplish because we have to get ourselves out of the way. And the first one is to never let a visitor sit alone. Visitor comes in by themselves or they come in with some friends, don't let them sit alone. It's like we have to turn up our antenna and be aware of what's happening and who's coming and welcome those people, sit with them, be with them. It's so interesting, just sitting next to somebody allows us to feel like we're welcome, doesn't it? So go and sit with them. And the second thing we can do is to offer more than a simple hello. When I was on that patio, people said hello to me, but that was it. And that's not enough really to make somebody feel welcome. Ask some questions that let them know that they care. Ask them, how did you find Unity in Marin? What do you feel when you sit here? What about the teachings moved you? Was there something here that stirred your soul? Would you like to join me for a cup of coffee after the service? But engage them. Let them feel welcome. And some of the stuff, we have to move beyond our own comfort zone. I know the introverts in the room are going, not me. That's somebody else's job. And the third thing we have to do, or we can do, is to behold the Christ in them. And that doesn't mean to walk up to them and say, well, I'm holding the Christ in you. That might scare the bejeebies out of them. They're going to think, what kind of a woo-woo place is this? But we do that in consciousness. Jesus said in Matthew 17:20, wherever two or more are gathered in my name, I am there in the midst of them. And he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the Christ presence. As soon as we call upon that presence, it's right here, right now. So call upon that presence. Breathe into it. They will know it. When we behold someone in the light of the Christ, they get it on a spiritual level. I love what Unity's co-founder Myrtle Fillmore said. She said, as the sunshine brings out the colors in beauty, so the light of love brings out Christ's virtues in people. Love, love, love. And the fourth thing that we can do is what I call the 3-minute rule. And it's not at all similar to the 2-minute warning in football. But it's the average person who visits a spiritual center leaves within 3 minutes of the end of the service. Within 3 minutes, they're gone. And I know for myself, what I typically do, and maybe what you do, is what? Beat them to the restroom, or go and get something to eat. Or oftentimes we find our friends, don't we? And we want to connect with the people that we know and that are here, that we've already made connection with in the past. So what I challenge you to do from this day forward, and some people told me after the last service that this happened to them, is to, instead of finding your friends, go to somebody who you don't know. Maybe this is their first time. Maybe they're relatively new at Unity in Marin. But to go and welcome them and be with them and love them. Just behold the Christ in them. Have some simple things to say to them that help them to feel your welcomeness. We have a great gift to share. We have this incredible truth that has saved so many people's lives. Anybody been moved by these Unity teachings? Anybody's life been changed by these teachings? We know that it's true. So let that be what you share and who you are. Everything is God. Everything is sacred. Everything belongs. In a few moments, the phone's going to ring. It's God. God's calling. And in a few moments, Nicholas is going to sing, I Believe. And as he sings this song, I want you to just totally embrace it and to be with it and hold it in your hearts. And to know that everyone belongs. And to really just hold that in your heart. Hold that in your presence. Everything belongs. I belong. And feel that. To love that. And to be with that. Everyone belongs. I belong. And now, to anchor all of this in, we're going to use a denial and affirmation. So I invite you to stand up. Denial, as you know, is a phrase that helps us to release the things that aren't serving us. And we want to release whatever is holding us back from opening our hearts and minds wherever we are to the presence of Spirit, and to recognize that everyone belongs wherever they are. In this affirmation, we're letting go of our resistance to intimacy, a resistance to fully experiencing and expressing ourselves. So are you ready? You feel some energy? We're going to do this with energy, and I invite you to move this energy, because this is a healing presence of Spirit that is right here, right now, that is moving in and through you, and you're going to release this and let it go, and you're going to be new and renewed and fresh, and that Christ's presence is big in you. Are you ready? Yeah. All right, so I'll say it first, and then let's say it together. I release my fear of intimacy, knowing it has no power over me. Together. I release my fear of intimacy, knowing it has no power over me. I embrace my truth. And now we follow a denial with an affirmation, which is a statement of truth. To bring in the truth that we are. To remember this Christ presence. And again, I'll say it first and invite you to speak it with me. With open and loving hearts, we dive deeply into our community and invite others to join us. Let's say it together. With open and loving hearts, we dive deeply into our community and invite others to join us. And just feel that for a moment. And I invite you to be seated. And I'd like to invite the ushers to come forward. And as the ushers are prepared, I invite you to reach into your heart. Open your heart and feel the love that you are. We know that as we give, we receive, because as we give, we open a place. We create a void for more Spirit, more abundance, more love to come in. So as you prepare your gift today, consider the gift that you have in this community. And know that this community and these truths are here to serve you, to be a brighter light in your world. So let's say this together. I open my heart. I open my heart. I behold my love. I behold my love. I share my love and light with the world. I share my love and light with the world. And the world blesses me in return. And the world blesses me in return. And so it is. Namaste.
Just as we give, so we receive. Richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love. Love gives it back. Just as we give, so we receive. Richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love. Love gives it back.
I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe in the dark of night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe. I believe. I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer can still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why. I believe. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why. I believe. Thank you so much. Jason.
Isn't he? Oh, there I am. Look. Isn't he wonderful? Thank you so much, Nicholas. You're wonderful. And Reverend Blaine, thank you. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. And as we raise our hands to bless the offering, remember that in fact we are grateful, but we do believe. So join with me as we bless our offering, please. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Thank you, God. And thank you, Nicholas Bearde, for such a wonderful, I was watching him and I thought, wow, he is cool. And and for some reason I feel warm. What a beautiful combination. He has an incredible background. He's so humble, but if you want to learn more, he'll be out in, I think, Unity Hall or in the Breezeway. Please give a visit. And And thank you to Reverend Blaine. Just what a heart-centered talking about the community and how to open up and not fear intimacy. And I really felt that this can only come from someone who lives that. And I think we all felt that. So truly grateful for your words and your presence here today in this divine appointment, I think. And And I think Reverend Blaine kind of put a mirror up to our congregation, and talking about the heart and the community of the heart. And when I look in that mirror, I see two things. I see that that's kind of who we are. I think we are really a big-hearted community. And then I also see another side, which is I'm looking out there in some empty seats, and I feel like these 3-minute rules, or inviting people who cut in front of you or whatever, there's some work for us to grow. We have this incredible resource. We see it materially in the building and the ornaments, and then if you really get to know someone, the depth of friendship here, and I think that's our calling. Our calling is to somehow grow this and further expand this, and we're doing that, and it's just a wonderful reminder, and we commit to that. And one last thing, if you can just indulge me for half a minute. He said some wonderful things about me being board president, and I want to take that mirror and reflect it back to you and just tell you I am just riding the surf. I'm like out in Hawaii, and it ain't me. And just a couple of thank yous. And first to Reverend Medora, who's the acting senior minister, and has... Okay, if you clap, it's going to be more than 30 seconds. No, but she and I work every week. We talk, and it's incredible. And Lisa, who's just given me all these tips, I fumbled a ball, and she's like the coach with the headphones on, and it's just great. And then Reverend Blaine had said, you have this team that did 400 hours. Well, the clock was at 600 hours, and that was a while ago. So for the entire search team, and that would be Lynn Forsey, who got up here, and so many other people, Mel Engel and Tom McAuliffe, and of course Don Davies, and the list just goes on and on, Maria Merritt. Any of you who are on that search team, I just can't tell you how much that means to this community, how much you're helping. And the list goes on and on, so let me just do a few more. The board. I work with 7 of the most incredible people. We interviewed and talked to Reverend Blaine yesterday, and I said, I think the 13th power, we have the 12 powers, the 13th power is professionalism. And that's what we have. We're not drama. We're here to be your servants, and we're here to do it well and to bring our highest and best practices. And I think it's happening, and it's impossible without the other 7. And then there's the chaplains, there's the ushers, there's the musicians, there's John and the tech. There's everything. This place is built of every one of those contributions. So if I can just keep that mirror up and say thank you, that's one of the reasons we're here today and why I have hope and think we're going to grow and be something incredible. So that was a long thing before the serve commitment, which is what this is all about. Because we're clearly a community of service as much as a community of the heart. So let's say our serve commitment together. We serve Spirit, unity, and the world with love, joy, and a sense of adventure. And there is a lot of adventure going on now. And one of those adventures is our Faith in Action. We do it every year. And I think I've been a little long-winded, so let me take some of the air out. And briefly, this is not every year. This Faith in Action year is not like last year or any other. Once in a decade, you have this where Reverend Bill was here for 12 years, and look, just read the newspapers. The world is turning and changing fast, and we're here to be a part of that, to dance with that, to lift the world higher. Faith in Action is our financial commitment to that. So if there's any, way you can think about, it's not just the money, it's the giving of volunteers, and it's the prayers. We pray at 9 o'clock every day. And of course it's the money. Whatever you can do, this is what makes us grow. And we are all members here. If anything has happened in this 7-month hiatus or 6-month, is that we've learned that this is a community of the people. We the people. We don't have a guru up here. We're all leading. Every one of you is board president in my mind, just too busy. So we're all really guided and working together. And on that note, Jeannie is going to come up and tell us a little bit about her experience with Faith in Action and the community.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today and to get to serve by speaking to you. Well, I moved here 30 years ago from Minneapolis, and I attended a Unity church there. Just attended on occasion, you know. And I was always aware of where Unity was here, but I didn't come for various reasons until about 10 years ago or so. I was having a hard time in my community. People were not acting right, and I was having very bad thoughts about some of them. And I was like, oh, that's not who I am. I don't want to be thinking like this. And I had no spiritual community at the time, and it was rough. And my friend who knew what was going on said to me, Jeannie, would you like to check out that Unity Church over in Hamilton with me this Sunday? And I said, yes, I would, because I knew I needed something. So we came, and it was November. So guess what was happening in November? Faith in Action. So it came at the end of the service, like now, and I started thinking, I really need to come to this church every week. I need a spiritual community. I want a spiritual community, and I like this, and what's going to make me come back? It's like, if I fill out the Faith in Action form for a weekly donation, I will have to come back every Sunday and put my money in the basket. See, I'm really good with financial commitments. Excellent, 100%, contrary to my dietary commitments. So I filled out $10 a week because I knew I could do that without any problem. And my husband at the time wouldn't have a problem with it, so I did that, and I came every Sunday and put it in the basket, and then January, Unity Way of Life class started. I thought, I don't really know too much about Unity. I think I want to take that class and find out about it. So I took the class, and I find out at the end, you can become a member. I go, well, I've already taken the class, why not? So I became a member. So what I found out was that the way to meet people, the way to have friends, the way to not be standing out there all by yourself with just a hello, is to take classes and to volunteer. And that's how I've made all my friends here. Every time I take a class, I meet someone new, or I get to know someone better. And volunteer, I drive for Loving Kindness. I give people rides that need rides to like doctor's appointments, etc. I've made new friends that way. I sing in the choir. My best friends are in the choir. I love the choir. So I, joined the church, and the next year I made a bigger pledge. So why do I continue to give? Because we are a spiritual community committed to authenticity and the expression of love and support for each other in living an awakened, enlightened life. How beautiful is that? That's the community I want to be in. So it became very clear to me I was not living an authentic life. I needed to make a major life change, and it was terrifying to do. Getting a divorce when you're 65 after 25 years of marriage is a lot different than getting a divorce when you're in your 20s. So it was with this community that I got the strength and the courage to make that change that I had needed to make and was so afraid to do. And it was this community that didn't judge me, this community that supported me and loved me. And I came to Wednesday service every week because it's like I couldn't make it till next Sunday. And even when they talked about quantum physics, it's like I didn't hear a thing, but I sat there and was surrounded by people and was surrounded by love. And I got my hugs afterwards, and I made it through to the next week. And I just couldn't do that without this church. So with the divorce, my income dropped to about 25%, and so things were pretty scary financially. So my pledge went way down. But this year, I've been stronger, and I just had a better year, and I had more self-confidence. I had better thoughts in my mind, and things went a lot better. So for 2019, I have doubled my pledge. No one is going to pay for this church but you and me. There's nobody else out there. And, the board doesn't own this church. The people in the office don't own this church. Reverend Medora doesn't own this church. I own this church. And you own this church. This is our church. And the only way things are going to be taken care of around here, the only way we're going to have this church, is if we pay for it. You know, we pay our rent, we pay our mortgage. When the furnace goes out, we buy a new furnace. We take care of our home. This is our home too. This is my home. This is my community. This is my spiritual community. And the only way it's going to be here is if I pay for it, if you pay for it. We need to take ownership of what it is that matters to us. Fill out your pledge card with whatever you can. If you can tithe 10%, the 10% when I was growing up in Nebraska, I had a little job, $5 a week, and every Sunday I took 50 cents and put it in my pledge envelope and put it in the basket. Can you tithe? Can you do 10% of your income for your spiritual community? Is that too much? Is that too scary? Can you do 5%? Can you do $100 a month? Or can you only do $10 like I did? Can you do $5? You know what matters is that you do something, that you take ownership, that this is your church, and you say, this is my church. And you fill it out with whatever you can. And if you can only do $5, then do $5. If you can do $5,000, then do $5,000 a month. You do what you can. And together, we can do it. Together, we can change that number from 290,000 to 450,000. There's enough money here and enough love here and enough commitment here that we can do that. So I challenge you. If you haven't filled out that card yet, fill it out. If you've filled it out and you think, you know, I can do better, do better. Because this place is amazing, and we're a strong community, and we have so much to offer. And we need to be here to offer it to all those people who come in the door. Thank you.
Jeannie, our next board president. Just drop the mic. That was great. But she said something that's really true, and that's that we do own this place. I mean, really, we do. And one of the commitments is, Reverend Blaine, we're very transparent. He's, we've had multiple ministers here. And so next Sunday, we'd like any of you who feel you have things to say, feedback to come, and we want to process. We're really looking for spirit guidance, and we're also a democracy, really a spiritual democracy. We're, as the board president, my commitment to you and to everybody has been transparency and empowerment. I'm not here to make any single-handed decisions, and none of us are. So please come, own this place, own it in your decisions as well as in any kind of financial commitments you make. Some more on that, but after second service. And also in the evaluation process, I think Sandra, if you were going to come up and just mention briefly the forms. Oh, Sam will. Sam just had a couple things to say about how we're gathering a little more information here.
Good morning. I'm feeling the love this morning. It's just been so great. So everyone has, thank you to Reverend Blaine for the great talk. Everyone has an evaluation form, and please fill it out now, and they will be collected as you depart the sanctuary today. We need everybody's input, and it's been this way for every minister. And as a reminder that there is a light lunch being served in Unity Hall so that you may communicate and have some dialogue with Reverend Blaine and his beloved Emily. Emily, stand up. I don't think everybody knows who you are. And then, of course, there's a workshop this afternoon at 2 o'clock, so we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sam. And a couple last things here. So we're, the youth YAU are selling, pens. Oh, yeah, if anyone right now wants forms, the welcome team ushers are around with pens and forms as well, so please raise your hand. So the YAU are selling pies. They're the new wave of entrepreneurs that are going to take us into our future. So if you have an appetite or a desire to support them, The order forms are out there. Also, there are these ornament tags. If you go into the narthex, just pick one up, and this is a chance for one of the kids in the community to get a gift from you. So I plucked one this morning, and I got Amir. And Amir wants cars, soccer ball, trains, and 4-year-old boy. Anyway, he's a 4-year-old boy. And I'd really like to also, in all the gratitudes, thank the flower and hospitality sponsors. We get these incredibly beautiful flowers, which I take after service to give to my wife. No, and also the food that's out in Unity Hall, that's done from people's generosities and their donations. So thank you today, Sue Schuler and Robert Chandler. And we have this great bookstore at the end of the breezeway. It's that time of year, a good present, or maybe around the fire or sometime to read something that will help you go deeper. And will the prayer chaplains please rise? Reverend Blaine was talking in his many beautiful anecdotes about that search for love, romantic love. And I think of multiple ways we find love. There's that, but then we learn to love ourselves, and if we're lucky, we really embrace, and Spirit finds us, and we find Spirit. And the chaplains are those volunteers here who help us on that journey so beautifully. So today, if you just want to say hi in the spirit of welcoming and let's not be strangers, or if you have any joy to share, any support you want, it's incredible. I can't, they do about 5,000 prayers a year. If you think 400 people times 12 months, that's a minimum, and it's an enormous service and such a depth. So chaplains, thank you for your service. And the rest of you, please rise as you're able. And as we close our service, I did. But Claire just reminded me that there's a town hall, which I'm going to repeat next week, where we'll be discussing our search and the conclusion of our search. So again, next Sunday after the second service, we'll be doing that. And yeah, it's worth repeating. Thank you, Claire. So let's say our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And let's sing our peace song as we conclude. Oh, and Reverend Blaine will be in Unity Hall after this, so skip us. The guys in the